I'm happy to be joined by Rock Starks. He's a teacher, a professor at Bowling Green State University within the College of Business, most specifically overseeing the risk management and insurance specialization. And Rock, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. And my first question for you is just give me, your current status. How are you, and how are you and your students at Bowling Green State working through this time?
Sure. Well, good morning. We're fine. We had to make a really, really quick transition because this all unfolded, and the governor's stay-at-home orders and everything happened right in the beginning of our spring break. So our students went away for spring break, and we, as faculty and the college, had to really move quickly because we knew we weren't going to come back after spring break. And so, it was challenging, and everyone learned a lot about online teaching in a very short period of time, but the students are okay. And I think as faculty, we're sort of learning on the fly, and actually Bowling Green is spending a good portion of the summer ramping up our online capabilities and giving our faculty tools that they may not have experienced.
So you have your curriculum that's set. How did that change? Did you bring in maybe current events and how this crisis is impacting what you're teaching into your teaching?
We looked at obviously a very current event and how the insurance industry could potentially be involved or not be involved. And we even looked at, whether Congress should do something about it. And it was really, really topical and relevant for them to sort of say, this is how it's affected every aspect of business and what should be done. So we did incorporate some of that. I actually was fortunate in that one of my classes, typically face-to-face, involves guest speakers, but I'm a little bit limited by geography because, it's going to be a drive to get here. And I realized a week or so in that I no longer had that limit, right? So I have a friend, a former colleague in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I arranged for her to call in as a guest to my class, or just, log in as a guest. And I think the students really appreciated like this international perspective that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to do. So there were actually some ancillary benefits to being online because I could reach out anywhere. She is a health and safety consultant in the UK, and so I think it was really beneficial for them to see that this perspective goes way beyond Northwest Ohio or Ohio in general. That the effects of other countries are just as significant.
And then just tell me about the journey. Obviously this is an interesting couple months, but the program, the risk management and insurance specialization, started in the fall of 2015. And you've built it up to close to 50 students. What's sort of the reflection on the build up, and do you see that the growth continuing?
Well, yeah, I'm optimistic that the growth will continue. We've had tremendous support from the college in general and the university as a whole to advertise the program and to grow the program. And I think one of the challenges for me has been to make internal connections at the college, or the university. So I do get actuarial studies, and I do get healthcare administration, and get sort of a flow. And I think my biggest benefit has been that the students, frankly, talk amongst themselves. That they get, one student takes a class and they have friends that are also studying healthcare, and they just say, hey, why don't you come to class with me? This is how it's going. And even the actuarial, they tend to speak among themselves. And I recruit, don't misunderstand, but I think a lot of the recruiting happens among the students who realize the benefits and talk to their friends and their sorority sisters and fraternity brothers and bring other people with them.
Is there anything else that you wanted to get across that I didn't ask you about?
I think that it's been a fascinating couple of months to try to learn how higher education is going to adapt, what 3 or 4 years from now, whether or not the traditional residential university will be the same. I think for the most part, we're going to come out of this, but it's probably going to take 2 or 3 years before the universities are back to sort of a comfort level that matches up with our historical delivery channels. But I think the value of residential college experience is being questioned, and I don't think that's the right thing. I think there'll always be some value in going to college. And I think Bowling Green and other schools that have these, hundreds of years of tradition of that experience, I think for the most part, that'll be sustainable.
Rock, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, and good luck as we progress and try to get back to what's considered normal.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm really glad to help you out, and I appreciate the time.